today, brother. We're here today. Welcome to an episode of Stories for Experiences. This is episode 10. And we are welcoming Jose in the chair. Jose has a background in restaurants, but we're going to be talking about his story today. So don't forget as well to click that like and subscribe button. And let's get started. Let's get started. Now, firstly, what are we doing with your hair today, bro?
I think just maybe trim on the sides.
Separating the top?
Yeah, I think so.
You're keeping the top with some braids.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you want to keep it like nice and low so you can keep the braids from here, or did you want to like keep the braids just from the top?
I've got a little photo with an idea if you want me to show you.
Yeah. Show me.
Sorry, guys. That's what I'm trying to go for. So quite high on the sides.
Yeah, I got you some more corners around here.
Yeah,
I got you.
nice.
Yeah, done.
Excellent, easy.
And how short actually did you want to go on the sides?
Sure.
Like fade.
Yeah, nice faded. Yeah, nice and clean. Nice and clean.
Alright, Jose, now tell us about what you want to talk about today.
I think maybe we could just talk about, what Australia looks like from an immigrant point of view, since it's been built on a, immigrant working class, pretty much. So, yeah. Oh, and that's pretty much what I am, just another immigrant, working class.
Well, I'd like to first off, just for our viewers, just tell us where you're from.
So I was born in Venezuela back in the 90s, and then at about 5 or 6 years old we moved to Colombia. So it's I guess I don't really know where I fit. Now I feel Australian, and I feel like I've been welcome here and I'm part of this community,
Yeah.
But before that, it was just a bit hard to know whether I was from where I was. But yeah, born in Venezuela, raised in Colombia, and grown in Australia.
Now, how long have you been here in Australia?
I've been here since 2012, since I was 21 years old.
Alright, so we're really close to 12 years here.
Yeah, that's right.
Really close to 12 years here.
That's right.
And you've said that you wanted to tell us about what it's like from an immigrant point of view. So what is your point of view? Like, what is it that you've noticed about Australia from someone who's been, from multiple countries?
I feel like yes, Australia is is seen from the outside world as this beautiful place. Everything is great. Life is good and life is easy, and it's very different to what they show you, in the media or in what you see on TV. Is not as pink as it looks. You feel me? Yeah. So look, it's not easy for anyone here either. There's a lot of, there is a lot more corruption than you think. There is a lot more violence than you think. There is a lot more social issues that need to be addressed. But yes, it's a beautiful country. Yes, we're lucky. But yes, I think there is a lot of work to do to, especially with maybe more work to do towards less unfortunate people,
Yeah, I gotcha.
I feel like all we see is what life is like in big cities, Sydney and Melbourne and Adelaide and Canberra, but we forget about all of these smaller communities that sometimes feel left out. But yeah, overall, yeah, no, it's an excellent country, and there's a lot of opportunities. But yeah, there's a lot of people. There is a lot better that we can do.
What ways do you see, in particular, you've been here for 12 years, and whereabouts have you mostly been in those 12 years?
In those 12 years, I've been mostly in Canberra,
Yep.
and I think life is very easy in here. But that doesn't mean that it's like that in the rest of Australia.
I think that's very correct.
Yeah.
That Canberra has a very stable bubble compared to the rest of this country.
Yeah, I agree with that.
A lot more on the human rights than much else.
Yes, I feel, yeah. Yeah, we forget sometimes that, there is a lot more to the world than just Canberra. There is a lot more to Australia than just Canberra. For what I've seen and for what I've studied and learned, it feels like towards the center of Australia, life is not as good or as easy, but we don't get shown that.
I think we're only just starting to a lot of time at the moment. In the media, you see a lot of the problems in Alice Springs and local communities with the youth and the youth crime. But that at the moment, they're not sure what to even do there.
Yeah, I think that or maybe not us, but I feel like the government maybe focuses too much in life in bigger cities, and we have to remember that these communities are also part of the whole of Australia. And yeah, I don't know, coming from a place where the government forgets about the people. How will I say this? The government has the power to support and help these communities. The power is there, the money is there, and I feel like maybe more. A lot of these kids, all they want is attention. Like ghetto kids. This is where I grew up, and I feel you wish you had someone just to hand you a hand. Someone to teach you how to cook, someone to teach you how to cut hair, someone to show you a skill, or and we could do that. I think so.
What do you think a lot of these organisations that are meant to be helping, what do you think that they're not doing?
I feel like maybe just tuning. I feel like they're just tuning the blind eye. Seriously, I just feel like they just, it's there, but you know what? It's not really bothering anyone in here. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think like we focus too much on other things that are probably not as priority. I've read a little bit. Oh well, I was told by some of my siblings that were here in Australia when the Olympics games were hosted. Yeah, in 2001, I think so.
Yeah, 2000, 2001 or somewhere around there.
About 20 years ago. Yeah, roughly.
Like that.
So my older sister, she looks. She was looking after home security. Maybe I don't know if I should share much of this, but well, whatever. She works in security.
As long as you don't tell much or too much. Keep things fairly
Yeah. I think she works in security, and in that time, it wasn't with her department, but a lot of Aboriginal. Am I allowed to say Aboriginal? I think that's the right term. Yeah. Aboriginal families and communities were moved away from where the games were hosted.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, things like that. Like, I mean, why doing this when it is part of, like, these people are part of the essence of Australia? Do you know what I mean? These are I don't.
What was it like for you compared to them? When you've come here, were you treated with the same sort of caution? Were you treated with the same sort of disrespect? were you treated at open arms?
I think maybe because the Latin American community here is not very big and it's quite small, and maybe we've seen as a rare kind of not too common kind of culture. We were treated a little bit different. There's a lot of people that will look at me and they assume things like, oh, do I have drugs on me to sell, or you know what I mean? This kind of bullshit. Just
Really?
yeah, bro. Yeah, like even at the cafe, some customers would just assume like, oh, I bet he's Colombian,
Venezuelan, he's mixed up, or he knows.
or he knows someone that can get me drugs, or I'm sure he's got some, or yeah. But I guess it's yes, yeah. At times,
No,
I mean, it is Christmas,
no, I'm sorry, I had to play on that for a second. It was
No,
a
that's
good
alright. Look,
opportunity.
we're mates. I think we can have a bit of banter.
I think so.
It's so good. But it hurts a little bit when it comes from a stranger that doesn't know you and has no idea about what you've been through. And so yeah, I think I experienced a fair bit of racism, but yeah.
And so seeing that from your point of view, and then seeing it amongst the indigenous, the Aboriginal, and the locals, essentially, how did that make you feel mostly about our culture as a whole? Make you feel like it was just, I don't know, man. I wouldn't even know the right words for it. But what was it that you saw?
I saw a lot of stereotyping, like very straightforward stereotyping. Things that you hear from people like just on the streets, or like especially older generation Australians. Older generation white Australians can be quite straightforward with the racism, which for someone like me, I'm quite laid back and quite relaxed, and I'll just laugh and I'll just think, well, it's wrong, but at the same time, it's just it's fading. I feel like younger people are more accepting and more open and more educated. Yeah.
I think you're definitely right there, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of the racism and the stereotyping that I've experienced was often from older generation Australians, but I think young Australians are definitely changing things, and which is common for younger people, trying to do better.
So do you think it's a time game in Australia?
It's a
That
time,
matter
yeah.
of like a lot of the younger people coming in with the new morals, new values, and
Yes,
trying to enforce more of that?
yes, big time, big time. I feel like there is a better Australia in 2 or 3 generations, 100%. Especially like us, like young people like you and me, where we're trying to just do better than what our older generations did. Like my grandparents or my parents. Yeah, and even my son, I can see my son being more accepting and more loving, and I can see him playing with all his mates the same, regardless whether they're black kids or Asian kids, and it's not that he. I don't think my boy sees any difference, which is it's awesome. No, that's a good course. Yes.
Trying to think more of the mindfulness.
No, that's a good, bro. It's all good. I like that one.
This is what, 2012. How old
Yeah.
were you when you actually came?
I would have been in my early 20s, 20. I think I turned 21 when I got here that year. Um, you know, grew up in Venezuela for a few years and then moved to Colombia when I was maybe 5 or 6 years old. Uh, didn't do great at school. Always in trouble, always just out and about in the wrong crowd. Um, yeah, there was just a couple of moments that sort of like ground me a little bit. Seeing a couple of friends put down and
Can you tell me about some of those moments? If you're comfortable telling me
yeah,
about some of
yeah,
those
yeah.
moments, would you be comfortable opening up to us?
Yes, 100%, 100%. I think it's good to this is therapy. We need to do this more often. Um, Look, violence is around the corner where I'm from, so it's easy to get into it, and it's easy to just learn how to live with, and just learn how to live in violence without fear. So you will do just things that are not necessary just because. So the government doesn't help either. So I've experienced a couple of just deaths within my close circle. One of them was through a couple of protests between students and police. So there was a big time where some of public schools and public universities teachers weren't getting paid, and this is the state is supposed to, yeah, because they work in public schools and universities, and there was a big protest between university students and high school students against the police. Mind you, a lot of these university students and high school students were underage, 16, 17, maybe 18, 19, still kids. And yeah, and I got some videos from other friends of a mate just being shot clear just 3, 4 times by a police in a motorbike, just straight up on his way home.
Was he part of the protest, or was he just
He
going through
was
the
probably
protest
protesting, but he was just on his way home after, just
just after?
yeah,
And they shot him.
yeah. No, like no one is, because guns are not legal in Colombia or allowed. It's very difficult to find guns too, So if you protest, maybe you throw a couple of rocks or some shit like that, but no one has guns, And yeah, he was just maybe just walking home to grab some dinner and go and do homework and whatnot, and yeah, yeah, still, yeah.
How old were you when this happened? And
I
how
would have
old were
been
you as
maybe turning just 18, just finishing high school. Yeah, I'd have to do a couple of years again because yeah, I wasn't great at studying. I wasn't a very academic boy, yeah. But yeah, and you just almost feel like that's just the norm. That's just normal. Like shit like that is just happens, So you learn how to not to fear the government, and you learn how to just walk your way through. So if it's not society, then it's the government, and if it's not the government, then it's the police. But yeah, people just learn to live like that.
when it's everywhere, you just learn to
Yeah.
adapt to your environment, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Just learn
you
to
don't
really,
know the
yeah.
way.
It's what you see. It's what
It's
everywhere.
it's what's normal. Yeah, like I've seen a few friends just being hurt or stabbed or shot or yeah. But what's actually quite interesting? I had my parents here for a few months, for 3 or 4 months, not long ago, and one of the biggest cultural shocks of my dad was when I picked them up from the airport. We went home and I took my shoes off and I left my shoes at the front of the house. And he just couldn't believe that you could just leave the shoes in the front of the house and they will be there in the morning. So yeah, it's yeah,
Very different. You're very quiet.
it's very different. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But again, don't let that take you away from the fact that there is communities that need more support and more help in other parts of the country. Yeah. Nice, that's looking sharp. Love it.
Still got to get there. I just figured I'd finish. Get
But
get all that,
I can see
that,
the
that
vision, you
bulk
know.
paperwork done first.
I can see the vision.
It's funny because I actually agree a lot there, right? Where the way I grew up was a lot of between the cracks and a lot of really weird odd ways. Really fucking weird odd ways. You know, I had the primary school feeding me a lot of the time, and I was really thankful for that. But I'm pretty sure it was coming from a teacher's pocket, coming from his very own pocket, you know. So like yeah, I don't know. I don't want to open up too much, so I won't. I'll leave that one alone.
No, that's cool.
So when you've come over here and you've seen, you know, what it's like everywhere else that you've been, and then you've come to Canberra,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
was
Canberra's pretty fucking different to what you've
Very,
been
very.
speaking about. I've seen protests on Northbourne, and it's like usually just some uni students or some old people being like, you
Yeah.
know, and it's and there's been occasionally a couple of big ones, but for the most part,
It's all very peaceful and very quiet and very
I'm like, even
which
then,
is not a bad thing. Like that's how it should be. Like the yeah, like some of a lot of the protesting back in Colombia, at least, is based on anger. Like people have suffered so much that they get to a point where they're just angry, you know, and they just and the way the system reacts is with more anger, you know. So that's why all of these people that get hurt, that hurt by the same police, you know, and you don't. I don't know. I don't know. It's complete. Yeah, it's a whole different fucking universe, man. It's all different, you know, different.
I think you're very right there, to be honest. I think you're very, very, very right there, to be honest.
Very, very different, you know.
But then you go to the rest of the country, and what have you seen, right, compared to Canberra?
Yeah.
Right, so where have you been in Australia?
I've been to
Like,
look
where
so
have you
far.
visited?
I've been to. I like to go to small towns out of Canberra. You know, I like to go for daily drives or visits. We've driven all the way to Melbourne, so we stop in various smaller towns, and yeah, and you can just see the difference, like how all of these smaller towns have been almost forgotten. You know, like there is so much potential. There is so much like history and culture and things to see in these places, but it's yeah,
It's very forgotten about. in
very
some
forgotten
ways.
about, especially through times of drought. Is that what you say? Drought, like when
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
rain and these people are there without, you know, no food, very little things to get by, and yeah, and just you know everybody in the city is having a good time, but then you know farmers can be struggling and yeah. But no one is listening to them. You know, everybody's paying attention to the uni students protesting in Melbourne.
They're not paying
For
attention to the-
you know what I mean?
It's
Like
only when they come here in actual force, like there's been a few times where you see like a big community of Australia all come together from different communities.
yeah,
Right? Come to Canberra, hold up the whole city, you know, just so that they get listened to. And it's quite sad to see sometimes.
yeah, like yeah, it's quite sad. But you know, I've seen like um there's a lot of people protesting for what is happening in between Israel and the Gaza Strip. But then why is none of these same students or these people doing something about black kids being locked up in the middle of Australia? You know, why we're not working on what we've got here and what we have to fix here but we're fighting for, I don't know. I'm not saying it's not right, because it's awful what's happening. But there is people that need help here too. I don't know.
I think so. I truly think that.
Sick.
Starting
Love
to
your
look
work,
at
bro. Really, love your work, man. It's looking sick. I love what you did with Leo's hair.
Oh yeah, looking
Yeah,
good, eh?
man.
Look
Yeah, real good.
Look really good. He's really still though. Like he's pretty good at getting a haircut.
Yeah, well, he's used to. Since he was little, I was, yeah, just get him involved. I have to.
So do you plan on staying in Canberra and moving around, or do you think that your business will keep you here?
I think for the time being, the business will keep me here for a few years. I would definitely love to go out and about and explore more. And one of my dreams would be to just sell everything and get a bus and just travel around.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's an expensive thing to travel
Yeah.
Australia though. Jesus, I've barely
Yeah,
travelled this place.
man. It's not cheap.
Let alone travelled at all. But yeah.
One of the things I would like to do is maybe have like a little community cooking school, and maybe try and go somewhere that is needed. Like what I was saying to you about maybe going to Alice Springs and teach kids how to cook,
Yeah.
or teach kids how to do something. I don't know, carpentry or
Giving a new skill to people.
well, just
that
his
may
skills.
Not have access.
Yeah, man.
You might be there right time. Who knows?
Yeah, or just I think humanity has to learn how to use their hands again. We're also
We're so reliant.
so reliant on.
I don't know. I couldn't imagine doing your haircut with the hand clippers. Like doing your haircut, just like your whole haircut with those old school. I don't know. Machines are nice sometimes.
Yeah. Like I feel a good balance is okay to learn how to have a balance, but
But we rely too much on computers.
too much on computers, man, and too much on technology. Like
I'm
There
two
is-
minds about that.
I think to a certain degree, technology is good. I think when technology starts, I don't know, like for example, this is an example. I went to a restaurant not long ago where they have a robot as a waiter, right? And there is a little robot that brings the food to you, and you just press thank you, and then the robot goes back to the kitchen, and they just put the food on the robot, and then it's like a little machine that just goes around the restaurant with the food in the back, which look cool. Yes, sick. Why not? It looks fun, but you don't talk to anyone.
Yeah, right.
It
I think
loses.
That's a huge part of hospitality in your trade.
Yeah, and it's there is not someone like asking and smiling at you. How was your day, man? Like what can I get for you? Yeah, this dish is beautiful. We got this special. Like what you feel like, and that's that human connection. I feel like once technology starts taking over the human connection, that's when we gotta stop.
Alright.
When, for example, you call someone in Tesla and it's in Tesla or Vodafone or whatever, and it's like an AI. So if I have problems with the internet at the cafe, I have an app, and the app is what solves the problem for me and answers to my questions. It's not a human on the other side of the phone.
Yeah, I do find that part very difficult.
Yes, so
I
that.
like talking to machines in that way. I do
Yeah.
like things being sorted by a human.
So I think that's when technology, or that's when we should back up technology a little bit more.
I don't know, but I still see that a lot of our advancement still needs to come through a lot of small things like that. I wouldn't say like taking over waitering, but taking over maybe growing food.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Can see that. Like
Because no matter
automa.
what, AI is going to become a huge thing, and it's about, I think, a huge part of is how we're going to end up having to treat it. How we'll have to treat it, how we'll have to view it, and you know, that'll become what we I don't know, what are the
It will be part of the day-to-day living. I think so. Just the way phones became part of the day-to-day living. You know, like I don't think I've met a person without a phone. So it will, it's just maybe learning how to live and how to use it. I think more than anything, learning how to use AI.
Did you see a lot more technology around Canberra, or like not so much that, but like like we're talking about technology, we might as well chuck a bit of your story in there still a bit as well, right? Did you see a lot more technology over here compared to Venezuela,
100%.
compared to Colombia, compared to everything over there?
Yeah.
You know, do you think that technology is the advancement in that way, in like human quality of life compared to over here where everything is so easy? You know, everything is that easy that we're in a city of 500,000 and we have everything we need in this city
Everything
of
you need.
500,000, where there's cities over in Colombia and Venezuela that have way more and may not have things so close at hand.
Yes.
What's your view there?
So well, look, where I grew up in Colombia, the city is slightly in terms of land, in terms of space, it's slightly smaller than Canberra, but it's got 4 to 5 times the amount of people.
So close to 1.5, 2.5.
Yeah,
million.
1.5 million roughly. And technology is just not as available. You know, like there's a lot of people that still uses phones that are not smart, or you know, it's actually an interesting topic now that you put it out there. Yeah, technology is not as available, but then people is a little bit more capable to
Doing the jobs that are around.
doing the jobs that are around. Yeah, man. Like I've noticed a lot of people in Canberra, especially, we have cleaners, people that comes and clean the house.
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh.
So is that the head? Yeah, it's gotta be the head.
Nah, that's all my fault right there. Shouldn't be using this one to take out bulk, to be honest.
Is he gonna make it?
Yeah, just give me one moment.
No, it's so good.
No, I do have a solution.
It's so good.
You'll have to leave the room for a moment.
No, not dramas. Don't stress. Nice.
It burns. Wish they'd get the lighter.
Hair burns.
And just burn
Nice,
it off. Yeah.
Nice.
But it's my fault because like the running gear on this is like exposed. So I
Okay.
shouldn't be using it on long hair.
Especially mine, that is just fucking thick.
I literally just stopped thinking for a moment.
No,
I
no,
literally
that's so good,
just
that's
stopped
so good.
thinking for a moment, eh? But back to topic, you know, like the technological differences between Canberra, between everywhere that you've been and you've seen, you know.
Yeah. There's a lot of access, and there is a lot of financial power to access technology here in Canberra, you know.
A lot of people have a cleaner.
A lot of people has a cleaner. A lot of people, a lot of people have multiple TVs at home, multiple iPads. You know, like it's rare to see a person with a smartphone in Colombia, and you know, and this person won't be as safe in the street with a smartphone. You know.
That is actually extremely. You've hit upon something that even I noticed there, right? Is that with my pants, it's got this back pocket, and it's really easy. And I'm wearing them right now. It's really easy to just like, if I'm walking and I put my phone in there all the time, and I've thought about this multiple times, that it's like, oh, thankfully I'm in Canberra. Because if I was walking along anywhere else, someone could just literally grab that phone and just gone. Right? And I'm a smoker, so I'm gonna get like 15 minutes of a sprint, 15 like meters of a sprint, and then be like, oh, fuck the phone.
Yes,
They got the phone.
Yes,
This sort of thing, and it's like, Canberra's so damn fucking safe that like even then, like one of my someone that I work with, you know, my employer, he leaves his car windows open all the time.
I don't lock the door at home.
Yeah, and like you know, like and it's like he's inside the shop working, and like even in Kambah where it's not the greatest, no one touches the car.
Yeah, man.
You know, so that's a really interesting thing that you've hit upon there.
Yeah,
right. And I've seen him leave things in his car, right, and no one touches it. No one bothers.
No, because there is that power here. You know, like even if you could be, you know, you could be a waiter, you could be a cleaner, you could be even. You could be an employee and live off Centrelink, and you could still have enough financial power to just buy yourself a phone, right here, and yeah. Ah, man, yeah, it's a whole different world out there, brother.
Yeah, man, the money in Canberra is absolutely insane.
Big time.
Sometimes, man.
Big time. I don't. Yeah.
Absolutely insane, and it's like the whole city. But it is a government city, so
It is a government city, yeah. I'm sure it's a little bit different in places like.
Actually, here's another good question, right? Compare Canberra's a government city. What's a government city like in Venezuela or Colombia?
There is not really a government city per se, you know. Usually, the capital cities is where the government buildings will be most of the time, and then there will be like government buildings spread throughout the cities in general, you know.
Yeah.
But there is not a capital, like there is not a government city.
Like Canberra.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, where it's so like Canberra's that damn planned.
It was planned to be that way, you know. I don't think people was planning a lot when they were building Colombia. You know, it's a very old country, and it's got very rooted issues, and I don't know. It was colonized, you know. It's a product of colonization, similar to Australia, but I feel like it was brutally colonized to the point where it's really hard to find information or any kind of information about indigenous communities. You know, like indigenous communities were almost swept out of existing in South America. To this day, still a lot of communities are disappearing. Languages are disappearing. No one is taking like record or, you know.
I gotcha. Do you see that Canberra does some of that stuff, or do you see that it doesn't compared to those?
I feel like Australia's been pretty good trying to. Lately, these last few years, Australia's been very good at trying to preserve these elderlies and these communities and try and look after that. But or at least more than in Colombia. Yeah, man. Like I was talking to my dad about indigenous. If we were, because I know for the fact that we are descendant of indigenous communities, because of where my dad grew up in the mountains, up in the mountains, and all that we know is because he was told by his grandparents, or you know, but there is not really records or anything written, or I think his great granddad knew a little bit of the language that was used, but that got lost.
Do you know how that may have gotten lost at the time? Was that just due to like a lot of colonization that happened and people literally, like as you said, not writing records?
Yeah.
Or was it just due to people with like something else?
No, it was definitely due to colonization and just I don't want to get into this, but a lot of religion too.
Let's leave that one out.
No, but like a lot of religion. So as the colonizers arrived, they brought in Catholicism with them, and we were colonized by the Spanish people. So I know that indigenous people were Catholicized. I don't know how to converted, and they weren't allowed to speak the languages. They were only allowed to speak, the church language.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm just gonna turn you
That's good.
a little bit.
Looking sharp, brother. I love it.
I hope so.
Yeah, no, sick.
I hope so. The hair was so damn long, man. Like,
Yeah, I know.
bro,
Sorry.
Like, the hair that's on the floor is that fucking long.
Yeah, it's been a while, eh?
And it's like, it gets to that weird long stage, right? Where it's like, you look at the whole thing and you're like, oh, as a question, doesn't look too long, or like, is it long enough for what I want? And it's like, no, it's actually perfectly long for what you want. Like,
I think so.
Like the great length.
I think so.
You know, where it's like you can finally start seeing the braids coming back,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that will definitely hang down that little bit.
Yeah, that would be sick. But yeah, I just have to let it go that long, if I want to. Yeah.
Man, I reckon you can go get it braided in like the next day or two.
I think so.
If you had to.
Yeah.
So were you in the food industry in Colombia and Venezuela, or did you fall into that when you got to Australia?
No, I actually fall into that the second time I was kicked out of school.
Really?
Yeah. So I would have been maybe 14 or 15 years old when I got my first job. So I struggled a little bit at school, and after I got expelled from a school for the second time, my dad decided that it was a great idea to get me a job. So I got myself a job at 13 in a restaurant. And yeah, just started washing dishes straight out from day one. Wash dishes. And as I grew into the business, I moved around the sections. So I went from washing dishes into making the soup of the day, and then I moved into making the soup and the salad, and slowly just gaining more confidence and getting knowledge, and earning like a place,
Yeah.
I think kitchens are usually like that. You can start from scratch, but if you earn you can just earn your way up.
It's hard to go into a kitchen and just start at the top.
Yeah, no,
Very hard,
no. You gotta earn that respect, and you gotta earn that place too. So I work at this place for maybe the first 5 or 6 years of my cooking. And to this day, even after more than 10 years, I still stay in contact with the owner, and he was a big part of big part of the chef I am today and what I am. And he taught me how to, more than anything, more than the skills, or more than knowledge, or more than knife work, or how to fillet a fish. He just taught me how to be resilient, and how to work hard, and just how to think, which is something that not a lot of people teach you. How to just solve a problem, how to get through the day, or fix things, or problem solving, hustle.
Is this man still in hospitality today?
Yeah, this man today owns just a little ice cream shop. So just back in the same city. Yeah. So when I was working at this restaurant, it would have been probably one of the best restaurants in that area. Maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, he sold the business, and it was a quite successful business. So he sold it for a good price, and then he just opened a little ice cream shop.
Yeah.
But he's the kind of mentor that still calls me on my birthday, so will message me, how's my day going, how's the family. Very, really, really loving guy. I felt like I was mentored as almost like a son.
Yeah.
So it was probably the best experience I have in hospitality.
I'm sure you got a lot of them.
Yeah, no,
all collective experiences just in total. Just maybe very few like that, but in experiences in like just general. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. I think look, I love hospitality. You know, it's a beautiful place to be, but I feel like maybe TV is giving it the wrong name. I think I don't know. I blame fucking Gordon Ramsay, to be honest.
What?
I blame Gordon Ramsay.
Why?
Well, because I don't think all chefs are like that. I don't think all restaurants are like that. I feel like you know, if a 16-year-old kid is watching Gordon Ramsay go at people like shit, why would you want to work in a place like that? You know? So I feel like the lack of chefs today and the really little how hard it is to find staff, how hard it is to find chefs is I think he's probably part of the problem.
Do you think that he just made it seem like it's okay to have bad attitude as a chef and that it's okay to yell at people and be a cunt?
I think he made it look like it's okay, but he also made younger people not be interested to work in hospitality. You know?
Yeah.
Like as a you know, I think if you ask a 15-year-old kid after watching Gordon Ramsay he would like to work for him, he'll probably say no. Why would he, you know? He could fucking just be a carpenter or a plumber, which is nothing wrong with those professions, but yeah. Fucking asshole.
Well, that's what like I spent some time in hospitality myself when I was younger. And
Yeah.
Like I found that it was extremely uncomfortable when the whole attitude of it was to
I'm a bigger dog than you.
yeah. And the abuse, the drug abuse.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
The aggression.
The anger,
You know, like all of it.
the who's better than who, and who gets the position, who gets to be the sous chef, or you know.
But I also think that, you know, back in time, there wasn't as much mental support or like mental understanding, especially in that industry as well.
Yeah.
Right, so that's where I think a lot of like younger generation in the industries, every industry, right, can hopefully be a bit more patient, be a bit less aggressive, be a bit less Gordon Ramsay-ish as it goes.
Yeah, more tolerant towards each other too. The hospitality where I grew up was a family-run business, and it was all about mentoring and making you better rather than who is better than who, you know?
Yeah.
Because I saw my boss mentoring everyone just as if they were their own sons, his own kids, you know? Because if everybody's better, the restaurant is gonna be better if everybody is mentored and is taught and is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think so. But I don't know. That's what I try to create with my own business. Like, you know, just to spread the love and try and teach everyone and treat everyone with respect. And yeah, I don't see the need of screaming or putting people down. You know, I'm not gaining anything out of it.
I don't think it feels good either.
I mean, it doesn't feel good. It's awful, you know. You know, hospitality is it's a people industry, and not just looking after the customers, but also just looking after your own people. You know, looking after everybody that is around you. You know. Yeah, that's right. That's what it's exactly.
Being hospitable.
You know, like I look after my waiters and I look after my staff and I treat them like family, and they will treat their customers the same way. You know.
Now we're coming to the end of our interview today. I would like to thank everybody for watching as well. And I would also like to thank you, Jose, for your story.
No, it's not.
Do with your hair quickly.
Just chuck it at the back, I reckon.
Like chuck it back.
Yeah, put it on a man or something. But I don't know, man.
Do you have
Thanks.
a hair tie, actually?
I think I do, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So it might work.
Nice.
I
Thanks.
like all of mine, thank God. Because
that's so
usually
good.
I have a little bag of them, but I took them to work.
No, man. Thanks for having me. It's been
Bad experience.
It's been awesome.
Hectic.
Yeah, it's been
This has
awesome.
been great.
It's been you know, it's been therapy almost. Um, but yeah, no, thanks for having me, and it's a lot of fun, and I think you're doing. I love your work, I love your art, and no, I'm nothing but grateful, for this.
Yeah. Two last things while we're finishing up.
Mm.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the audience personally? Like very very small personal sentiment. Quickly.
I think so. Look, let's be a little bit more kind to each other. I think in all industries. I think in all industries, or just in every day. Like I think we get a little bit too wrapped up on work. I gotta go to work. I gotta pay bills. I gotta do this and I gotta do that. And everybody is in the same race.
Oh God.
We're all
I'm in that race at the moment.
man. We're all trying to just make it through the day at the end of at the end of us. So just smile a little bit more. Life is short. It's a split of a second, brother. Smile a bit more, be kinder. Ask people how they're going.
And lastly, is there anything you'd like to ask me?
You doing all good?
Yeah, I'm doing alright.
Excellent.
I'm doing alright, bro. I'm
Nice.
just taking it easy.
Nice.
I'm just along for this ride as much as you, man.
Yeah, that's it, brother.
Seeing what'll happen.
Look at that. Fuck yeah.
I think I can just slightly swear that on
Yeah.
So it's nice and tight.
Mm. I feel like I got a good shape. A good.
Yeah. It's just those little stray bits.
Mm.
They'll usually pop out here and there.
How long do the episodes usually go for?
Oh, I tend to go for about an hour, half an hour to an hour. Depends on the story, really.
Nice.
And what needs to be done with the hair.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
it's all within the like the length of the hair. Up like that.
Mm.
And then just but that is a nice fade.
Nice and clean.
Alright, thanks guys. Like and subscribe. Stories for experiences.
They say this is a big rich town, but I live in the poorest part. I live in